Every Buffalo fan remembers the heartbreak of seeing our secondary shredded in January because of thin depth. It feels like Brandon Beane just sent a massive shockwave through the locker room by trading up for a player who could change everything. This isn't just about adding a body. It's about a high-stakes competition that puts a former first-round pick on notice immediately. We need your help to grow this community, so please help us hit 500 subscribers on the channel and to leave a like right now. Davison Igbenison is the name every person in Orchard Park is talking about today after a very bold move in the draft. General Manager Brandon Beane did not just sit back and wait for the board to fall his way. He got aggressive and traded up to pick 62 to make sure this physical cornerback wore a Bills uniform. Beane admitted he felt antsy as he watched other teams start grabbing defensive backs, and he honestly felt like the cornerback position was the biggest weakness on the entire roster. This is a massive statement because it directly impacts Maxwell Hairston, the guy we spent a first-round pick on just last year. When the general manager says the position is a hole, it suggests he is not fully satisfied with what he saw from his top investment. Hairston had a rough start to his career because of a knee injury during training camp, and he did not even get on the field until week 8. While he snagged 2 interceptions, he was also responsible for allowing a couple of touchdowns and did not always look like the lockdown corner we expected. Now, enter this new prospect from Ohio State, who brings a completely different physical profile to the table. Standing at 6'2", he is significantly taller than the players currently in our secondary, and his length is exactly what this new defense needs. Beane mentioned that while players like Christian Benford and Hairston have their own unique skills, this new addition offers a third skill set that specializes in press coverage. This is huge because our defensive coordinator, Jim Leonhard, wants to play a more aggressive style than what we saw under the previous regime. We also brought in Toriano Pride Jr. late in the draft to add even more speed, but the real story is the battle for that starting spot opposite Benford. The team cannot afford to be thin at this position again, especially after seeing how injuries to Benford and Hairston ruined our last 2 playoff runs. Beane is clearly done playing it safe and wants to ensure that whether it is a starter or a depth piece, we have enough talent to survive a long season. Every single decision made today reflects a desire for total defensive dominance. The arrival of this physical defender really signals a change in how the front office views the outside of the field. For years, we watched the Bills lean on smaller, quicker corners who played a lot of off coverage, but this young man is a different breed of athlete entirely. He stands tall with long arms that measure nearly 33 inches, which allows him to jam receivers right at the line of scrimmage and disrupt their timing from the very first step. This is what scouts call being wired the right way, and it is a quality that obviously impressed the coaching staff during his pre-draft visits to the facility. The physical tools are impressive, but it is the mental makeup that really seems to have sealed the deal for the organization. He is not just a big body. He is a competitor who played against the highest level of talent in the Big Ten and never backed down from a challenge. While he might not have the elite track speed of some other prospects, his 40-yard dash time is more than respectable for a man of his size. When you combine that size with his willingness to get physical, you have a player who can finally match up with the bigger, more athletic receivers that have given us trouble in the past. This is not just about filling a spot on the bench. It is about finding a player who can dictate the terms of the game to the offense. If he can master the nuances of the professional game quickly, he provides a level of insurance we simply have not had in recent years. We all remember the frustration of seeing backup players get exposed in the biggest moments of the season because they just did not have the physical traits to compete. By bringing in a guy with this specific profile, the team is trying to close that gap and ensure that the defense remains elite regardless of who is across from them. He has the strength to hold his ground and the length to break up passes that smaller corners simply cannot reach. It is a calculated gamble by the front office to prioritize size and strength when the lights are brightest. What does this mean for our wins and losses this coming season? It is actually quite simple. Better cornerbacks mean more wins and fewer heartbreaks in the final minutes of games. When our defense can trust its players to handle receivers one-on-one, it allows the rest of the team to be much more aggressive. We will not have to worry as much about big plays over the top or easy completions that keep drives alive for our rivals. If this young man wins the job, it could mean our defense becomes one of the most feared units in the entire league because we will finally have the size to match up with anyone. However, if he struggles to adjust, it puts a lot of pressure on the guys we already have to stay healthy and play perfectly. We have seen what happens when the depth at this position is tested, and it usually ends with us watching other teams celebrate while we wonder what went wrong. This move is about making sure that history does not repeat itself. It is about protecting our lead in the division and making sure we are ready for the high-powered offenses we will face in the playoffs. The goal is to have a defense that does not just survive but actually dominates the game. By adding more talent to the room, we are forcing everyone to play better because they know their job is on the line every single day. Competition makes the whole team stronger, and that is exactly what is happening right now in the facility. Fans should feel a sense of relief knowing that the front office is not ignoring the problems that cost us games in the past. They are actively trying to fix the issues and build a roster that can withstand the grind of a long season. Every completion allowed and every missed tackle in the secondary has a direct impact on whether or not we reach the ultimate goal. This move increases our chances of success because it gives us a weapon we did not have before. It is about being tougher, stronger, and more resilient in the heat of battle. We have to look at both sides of this situation because the stakes could not be any higher for our beloved team. In the best-case scenario, this young defender comes into training camp and absolutely dominates from day one. He uses his incredible size and length to shut down our own receivers in practice, proving that he belongs in the starting lineup immediately. If that happens, our secondary becomes a lockdown unit that can neutralize the best passing attacks in the AFC. We could see a resurgence of the dominant Buffalo defense that used to strike fear into every quarterback who stepped onto our field. It would justify the draft pick and prove that the front office was right to be aggressive. But we also have to consider the alternative, which is much more frightening for us as fans. What if the transition to the professional level is too much for a young player to handle all at once? What if he struggles with the speed of the game or makes costly mistakes that lead to easy scores for the opposition? If he fails to live up to the hype, we are left with a massive hole in the secondary and a first-round pick from last year who might be losing his confidence. The tension in the building must be incredible right now as these two talented young men prepare to battle for their futures. Every snap in practice will be analyzed, and every mistake will be magnified under the bright lights of the stadium. This is the kind of competition that either builds a champion or creates a rift in the locker room. We want to see our players succeed, but we also know that only one person can start opposite Benford. The pressure on the coaching staff to make the right decision is immense because a wrong choice could derail the entire season. We have seen seasons fall apart because of poor play in the secondary, and nobody wants to experience that pain again. The margin for error is razor thin, and the consequences of failure are too high to ignore now. At the end of the day, this is exactly the kind of move a winning organization makes. You do not wait for problems to fix themselves. You go out and find the best talent available to make the team better right now. The battle between the new arrival and the former first-round pick is going to be the most important story to watch as we head into the summer. It shows that nobody's job is safe and that performance is the only thing that matters in this league. We all want what is best for the team, even if it means seeing a high draft pick move to the bench. It is a tough situation, but it is a necessary one if we want to finally bring a championship home to the city. Be honest with me. Would you trust a rookie to step in and start over a guy we just spent a first-round pick on? We really want to hear your thoughts on this, so leave a comment below. Please help us hit our goal of 500 subscribers and remember to like and subscribe for more insider updates. Your support means everything to us.